How's it going, Savage Life family? Today we're going to be talking about what to do if you are assigned on a call credit spread. So, of course, do not panic. I'm going to go ahead and guide you. This is going to be through the Robinhood exchange. If you do have a different exchange, it's going to be a very similar process. So first, I'm going to talk about my situation, my story, and what got me to get assigned on Palantir. So I ended up having a short leg on $32 with a long leg of 32.50, and it was performing quite well. If you look at the chart real quick here, you could see Palantir was in the money. It was sitting around $30 on expiration date, which was on Friday, September 6th. I usually don't hold it till expiration, but there was not a lot of activity going on. So one large thing that made me hold it through expiration was the fact that the spread was about a 10 to 15 cent differential. So every time I tried placing a sell order, it did not seem to go through. So it got to a point where it got too late into the market, and I was like, I suppose I'll just let it sit through, and eventually it'll close out as it's $2 under the money, and I don't see it spiking in the aftermarkets over $2 because at that time Palantir was a very slow mover. But of course, my luck, news came out that Palantir was joining the S&P 500, and it caused it to ended up rocketing up to around 32.70, $33 price points, and at that point my long ended up expiring, so I didn't have the shares to cover my short, and of course my shorts ended up getting assigned. So what happened then was I was debited 400 shares of Palantir. So on my account, it showed negative 400 shares, and I was credited the amount of 12,800. So credited means whoever exercised the right to buy Palantir, because remember my shorts was at $32, so they exercised the right to buy Palantir from me at $32 for 400 shares. They gave me $12,800 to do so. And for those of you who aren't very good at math, I'll go ahead and just put it here on the calculator just so you can see. 12,800 divided by 400 is the average price that I sold Palantir at, which is $32. So I didn't have the shares in my account, so Robinhood lent me the shares. In doing so, that brought my account to the red and showed I had a margin call because I owed 400 shares to Robinhood. Even though I was credited $12,800, that did not reflect in my buying power. Now, on some exchanges, it may reflect on your buying power, but depending on the risk management for that exchange. So Robinhood doesn't show it on your own buying power due to the fact that they don't want you taking that money, buying other shares or other stocks with it, and then losing it completely. So it's to avoid an excess loss in money. Now, in order to get access to the 12,800, you would have to contact the Palantir or the Robinhood customer service, as they have access to those funds. You would then go ahead and have to tell them to buy Palantir at a certain price that you wish to buy it. That way they could go ahead, use the funds that are in this secret buying power, and credit you the shares in order to cover that call credit spread assignments. So here are some scenarios where this can go either very bad or very good in your favor. Let's say you were assigned at $12,800 and Palantir, in my case, was sitting around 33. So I could have played it where to the fact where I believe Palantir was going to drop another $3 and bought Palantir back at around $31 price points and made a short profit. But this is where it could get very risky. If you do wait too long and Palantir or the stock that you were assigned starts exploding in price points, 36, 37, you're going to have to cover the extra amount of money that was credited to your account. So remember, you only have 12,800 that you received from Palantir. Everything extra on top of that is going to come out of your pockets. So with this calculator here, if Palantir shoots up to $36, I still would owe 400 shares to Robinhood. So I would have to buy 400 shares at $36, which is 14,400. Remember, I was only credited $12,800. So this other money here is what I am going to have to be responsible for. So the number one thing you don't want to do in this scenario is just absolutely do nothing, because in some cases Robinhood or your whatever the exchange may be will close out the position if it does get too ridiculous, but sometimes they don't get to it in time and the stock could rocket up another $10, $20 price points. In this case, if I would have just sat, and right now Palantir's at $60 and I did nothing and it shot up to $60 in less than a week, I would have been responsible for buying 400 shares of Robinhood at $60. They only credit me 12,800. I would have had to come up with $11,000 to give to Robinhood. So it is very critical, as soon as you do get an assignment for a call credit spread, to take action. Now, in my case, it happened on a Friday, of course. So over the weekend is very nerve-wracking, because with major news like the S&P 500 adding that stock and the stock becoming profitable, you know the sky could be the absolute limit. And it was great that I took action and got out, because look at the price of Palantir now. So if you guys do have any sort of questions, just drop it down below in the comment sections. And remember, do not panic if you don't see the buying power. They just have it in a secret account, which you won't have access to unless you call the exchange and talk to them about it. So I wanted to end it off with letting you know, if you are concerned about getting into call credit spreads, put spreads, or other option strategies, as long as you know what it is that you're doing, there is nothing to be concerned about. In order to just avoid this, all you would simply have to do is just be sure to close the position early. Even if you are going to sustain a bit of a loss, it's much better instead of going through the stress of dealing with this, because there is some uncertainty. Like I mentioned, if the stock would have shot up $30, $40, $50 overnight, which is, nearly impossible, but it could happen. That could possibly bankrupt a lot of you guys if you're not very careful with this strategy. So very simple, just close your call credit spreads, your put credit debit spreads, whatever the case may be, early, and avoid doing them weekly, on a weekly basis. Make sure you have expirations out months in advance, at the very least 20 to 25 days out, to give you a lot of time. So if you guys enjoyed this quick little video, do be sure to smash a like and subscribe. I'll go ahead and catch you guys on the next one.